Oh. All right. Good morning. I don't know, I heard a whole discussion about YouTube. I just got a message from David Hagal, who's watching from California on YouTube. He said if you hit the playlist, you could get it even before it actually uploads, because we're having a lot of trouble. It's taking many, many hours. I think it still didn't upload from last night's shir. That's what he says. It works for him. Hit the playlist. Try it out. All right. So, today's shir, well, first of all, today is the 10th day in the Omer. Can't really see it, but there's a nice background here. It's today's daf. Beautiful job by the Seltzer boy, Reb Nechemya. Today's shir is being sponsored Lilu Nishmaz Genindel Bas Shmuel. I actually knew her. She was in my building, I believe. This is Mrs. Hansi Bodenheim. The Bodenheims used to live in our building. It's Nachman Seltzer's father-in-law. He should be somewhere over there on the screen. I don't see him exactly, but maybe he's on. Oh, here he is. Rabbi Ira, how you doing? The Shama should have an aliyah. She was a wonderful woman. It's her first yahrzeit. Ira's mother is the only child, a Holocaust survivor, and left behind more than 100 descendants, all Shomrei Torah u'mitzvahs. That's unbelievable. In today's generation, to have every single one, that's a tremendous, tremendous chos. Her neshama should have an aliyah. A continuation of yesterday, we had the Tiefenbach, Lilu Nishmas, and here's a continuation. Lilu Nishmas, Chaim ben Rifal, Ben Reb Rifal Avigdor Leibish Zechron Levracha, Bracha Bas Reb Rifal Avigdor Leibish Zechron Levracha, Reb Ruven ben Shloim Zechron Levracha, and Tinok ben Ruven Zechron Levracha. And we also have a continuation. I just left it here for Dr. Epstein. By the way, Rabbi Bodenheim, if you would have lived in my building, I would have had you on the main floor. Well, the first floor not. Then we have on the second floor, we have only 2 residents, but both of them are part of the shir. Ruven Shade, of course, who does the 8-minute daf, and Dr. Epstein. And who else? That's it. 3rd floor, who's below me? No, they don't do it. Chaval. Let's hang this up here. So you got 4 customers from this building. What do we have here today? To explain these Ilu Nishmas here. Second part of the yahrzeit that my mother, Aleh Shalom, had for her mother's Shabbos. Apparently, the Germans, Yimach Shemam, took advantage of the fact that the families and the extended families were together around the times of Yom Tovim. And on Chof Nisan, after Pesach, in 1942, they came back for another 4 members of her family, and that's what you have over there. The Tiefenbachs, and 3 members of her sister's family, and Tinoik, who's he was how old? He didn't have a name. A 1-day-old nephew. 1-day-old nephew, Tinoik ben Ruvain. From the Mankevich. Tehin Shmosam Tzura B'tzora Chaim. The Shamas should all have an aliyah. This is from Sid Wellman. Reb Eli, being a worldwide Magid you got to keep the beard. Looks great and it's holy. Sid from Toronto. Sid Wellman. He's not on, right? That's somebody else. That's another. All right. What do we?
Ellie, we got a new guy from Renana on. Paul Hamburger.
Paul. Shalom Aleichem, Reb Paul. Hold on. I'm looking.
Simon Cohen brought him in.
Who?
The cousin, Simon Cohen.
Simon Cohen. He's dangerous, that Simon. All right, Paul. Shalom Aleichem, Paul. I don't see him, but look at this. We got the Weissfishes from England. They wake up at 4:30 in the morning. So this is, I don't know if I told you guys, I saved them a watch from the scene. We had watches for kids, and it has the little MDY emblem on it. So one day, when little Weissfish, I think his name is Shmuley, comes to Eretz Yisrael, I'm putting this aside for him. Rebelli, here's another one. Thank you so much for all the efforts you put into the shir. Just wanted to let you know that I get much enjoyment watching you shir, from clean shaven to a stub, waiting for the day when you'll have a full-grown, what's with these guys? Full-grown beard. Wishing you and your family a Chag Kosher v'Sameach, a friend of Aram Feinstein, Chicago. Ay vavoy. And this is Jay Spitzer. I thought I saw Jay on there. Jay Spitzer from Toronto on there? I thought I saw him. Maybe it was somebody else. Yeah, here he is. Shalom Aleichem, Jay. How are you? What are you, English? Because I heard like an accent or something over there.
No, I'm plain old Canadian.
Oh, you are Canadian. It's the Canadian accent that threw me off. Okay, I got it.
Just Canadian.
Okay, Yeshakayach Raveli, enjoying your share, especially on Motzi Shabbos when I join in on Zoom. So for you, it's Motzi Shabbos, you're saying. Right now, it's Motzi Shabbos, but you missed the Motzi Shabbos share last night and you're doing the Sunday. I got it. Just the question is to why do you shut down the YouTube recording right after the shir ends and you don't keep it going for the Tehillim or the Shmuz with the Chevra on Zoom? As a guy who watches primarily on YouTube, it would be nice to hear the stuff that continues once the official shir is done. Just wondering, and if you could change this, that would be great. Thanks, Jay Spitzer, Toronto. I mean, the answer is because it doesn't look so good on YouTube when the shir is 2.5 hours long and people look, oh, I don't want to do this shir, it's 2.5 hours long. They don't realize that, 25 minutes is emails and only 10 minutes of learning, and then the rest is all schmoozing at the end. So if I left it on, I don't know, if somebody has something to say about that, I'm willing to hear, willing to change it, I have no problem. I just thought the less time it is on YouTube, the better. For somebody coming in afterwards, he says, 45 minutes, okay, I'll do that shir. If it says 1 hour and 20 minutes, it might be a problem. You hear Jay? You hear the Taina? He hears. Okay. What?
I got it. I see the point. I see, and someone new, someone who's been listening for a while realizes, you know what, there's 45 minutes to a 55-minute share, and then there's other stuff. But you're saying a lot of people want to check out new, and they're not familiar, so...
Yeah, I noticed... if you go back in history, all the shiurim that have they're over an hour, they have very few views. Nothing to do with the shir, of course. That's to do with the minutes. I'm just saying.
Right.
Fine. Jonathan Stefansky, good morning. How are you? Today is Daf Mem Dalid. We're starting from a brand new Mishnah. 6 lines down from the top. Mitaltalin ner chodosh. We are talking about this candle right over here. Ner means a lamp. And in those days, this was made out of earthenware. I think I was ripped off once. As a tourist, you go through the old city and a guy came over to me and then my tour guide said, this guy, you could trust him. And they sold me one of these straight out of the Beis Hamikdash. One of these guys. It was very, very inexpensive but I think somebody just took it from I looked for it. It was in my closet the other day before Purim, and after Purim, it's gone. So I don't know what happened. Anyway, one of these, they're very popular here in Eretz Yisrael. You find them in all those archaeological sites. You put the oil in here. What is this? This is a new kind of muktzah we're going to be discussing a little bit today, called Muktzah Machmas Mius. It's disgusting. It's full of black soot and oil. Nobody wants to touch it. Muktzah Machmas Mius. So it says like this: Metaltalin ner chodosh. If it's brand new out of the box, it's not Muktzah Machmas Mius. It's not disgusting yet. It's a brand new earthenware. Avalo Yoshon, but not an older one. According to the Tanakama, it's Muktzah Machmas Mius. Reb Shimon Omer, Reb Shimon l'shitasoi. Here's David Feinberg. He's showing on the screen what one of these looks. Doesn't look so mius to me. Maybe it was never used. Fine. But that doesn't look... your kid made that, no? That part is mius. I see. He's showing where the flame comes out. I'm saying the whole thing, if it's soaked in oil day and night, it's a pretty disgusting thing. Muktzah, nobody wants to touch it. It's a new category of muktzah. Reb Shimon Omer, Kol HaNeres Metaltalin. So Reb Shimon is the one who's mekel in Muktzah. We had yesterday, he doesn't hold of Muktzah Machmas Isur. He says, no, there's no such thing as Muktzah Machmas Mios. No, that's not Muktzah. Now we're going to see there are a few Muktzahs that he does agree with, but Muktzah Machmas Mios is not one of them. Therefore, Kol HaNeres Metaltalin, I can move this lamp on Shabbos. Chutz min haner hadoylik b'Shabbos. If it's burning right now, this minute, then I can't move it. Why not? Why can't they move a candle that's burning right now? Very interestingly, Rashi says on the spot, Shema yicha b'haner. Because maybe, as you move it, you'll extinguish the flame by mistake. So right away on the side, Agois Vitzionim points out, the Marsha points out, that this is not the Maskana of the Gemara. The Gemara goes away from that. So what is it? Oh, Rabbi Gerzi, Yishkoyach. I had your thing here. Where was it? Oh, here. You see, people are so kind. Look at this. I got a present. An ounce of salt, Erev Shabbos. Why? Because this is special salt. Gerzi came all the way. David Gerzi just had a baby. He's busy with his new baby. But he had das. He had the intent to make me happy on Shabbos. So he gave me, he couldn't afford a whole cup. This stuff is it's hard to come by, but this is already mevushal salt. So there's no issue of pouring this salt. And also he didn't want to insult my wife. If it was a lot, then it would say like, listen, something's wrong with her soup. But this is just enough for Shabbos. I didn't use it. I left it. It was very kind. Melech l'Shabbos, Daf Membeis. Based on the Gemara, based on that sugya, he came all the way to my house to deliver this. Yishkoyach Reb Gerzi. I see you on the screen, so I remembered. Thanks. Oh, look at this. Anytime we go over 100 people on Zoom, I have a special ano because we spent extra money to get more than 100. And then Gary's saying, no, we don't have 100 yet. We're at 30. And no. In a few days, we'll have 100. So Baruch Hashem, 124 people on Zoom. So every dime, it's worth it. So it goes like this. Over there in the sugya, the end of the sugya, it says that if you have a candle, you should not carry it. Why? Because the candle, it's a basis l'davar aser. The flame is muktzah, and the rest is holding the flame. You're holding up the flame. That's the maskana over there. So why does Rashi say over here, Shemi Yechaba? So the Taisus Yonta goes into, sometimes Rashi likes to quote the havamin of the sugya. It's not really accurate, it's just telling you what the havamin is. Okay, fine. The bottom line is that according to Rabbi Shimon, you're not allowed to carry a lit candle, but once it's extinguished, even if it was lit ben hashmashas, it's not a problem according to Rabbi Shimon. He doesn't hold Muktzah machmas iser and migud is katzoy ben hashmashas, it's katzoy lekuli yoyim. The only issue is shema yechaba according to the havamina or basis. Okay. Chutz min ner adoylik b'Shabbos. Tarabana. Now the Gemara is just going to go through the shitas similar to what we have in the Mishnah. Metaltalin ner chodosh avalo yashan. You could move a brand new lamp. There's no muksa machmas mios. It's not mios yet. Avalo yashan. Divri Rabbi Yehuda.
That on the Gemara, by the way, not on the Mishnah.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. But same thing. Is there a difference?
No, somebody was looking for it. That's all.
Oh. Where to find it? Yeah. Okay. Avalo yashan. Divri Rabbi Yehuda. So Rabbi Yehuda is basically saying what the Tanakama says, that a used lamp is muksa machmas mios. You shouldn't be metaltal on Shabbos. It's muksa. Reb Meir doesn't hold of mios, similar to Reb Shimon, but a little different. He doesn't hold of mios. Kol aneris metaltalin chutz min haner shedliku by b'Shabbos. Oh, is this Reb Shimon? No. What is he saying? He's saying that if this candle was lit ben hashmashos, then I can't carry it anymore. Reb Shimon only says if it's lit right now. Reb Meir says even if it was lit ben hashmashos, if it was lit ben hashmashos, what is that called? It's muktzah machmas isur. There was an isur done here, and since it was muktzah during ben hashmashos, it's katzai likula yoyma. It's muktzah for the rest of the day. Reb Shimon Omer, and this is the Reb Shimon we have in our Mishnah. Chutz min haner hadoylek b'Shabbos. It has to be lit right now in order for it to be muktzah. If it was lit ben hashmashos, Reb Shimon doesn't have this migus katzoy lekuli yoyma. So we have three shitas here. Kafsa, if it was extinguished, mutil tatala. So Reb Shimon says once it's extinguished, it's not muktzah anymore. Just because it was muktzah ben hashmashos doesn't continue to be muktzah for the rest of the day. Reb Meir says no. If something's muktzah during ben hashmashos, it's katzoy lekuli yoyma. Interesting. We're going to see a little bit in Reb Shimon. He but he qualifies it a little bit more later. And Rabbi Yehuda, of course, holds of mios. So forget about muktzah machmas isur. There's another problem of muktzah machmas mios, something that's disgusting. An example is a graf shurei. Yeah, if you have like one of these pans for waste, human waste. Also, muktzah machmas meal is disgusting. A lot of times you have in the meal, you have like leftover food. Muktzah machmas meals, it could be a problem. But there's certain times you can take it out because you don't want to create an issue in your house on Shabbos, so you can move it, you could get it out of it, you can put it in the garbage can, whatever. Aval koisu ka'ara uvahashashis. It seems like there's a continuation of Reb Shimon. If it's a very large cup, meaning it holds a lot of oil that will last me throughout the whole Shabbos, loy yizizim im koimam. You're not permitted to move it at all. And we're going to see what that means. V'Reb Eliezer Reb Shimon Omer mistapik min haner hakava. Who's Reb Eliezer Reb Shimon's father? Right, the trick question. Rabbi Shimon. Reb Eliezer Reb Shimon. Rabbi Shimon that we're talking about. The Rabbi Shimon who says he's very lenient when it comes to Muktzah, and there's no Muktzah machmas miyos. There's no Muktzah migad iskatzoi ben hashmoshes iskatzoi l'kuli yoma. However, it seems like he says that if there's a lot of oil in the kli, you're not allowed to move it on Shabbos. Comes Rabbi Eliezer, his son, and says, "Mistapik min haner hakava, u'min Hashem min hametaftev, va'afilu b'shosh haner doilai." You hear this? Even while the candle is lit, where Reb Shimon would say it's aser, you're not allowed to because of shamichaba, basis, all that. Says Rabbi Eliezer, if it doesn't extinguish the flame at all, then I could use the oil as it's lighting. That's a new one. Even as it's lit, it's burning, and it doesn't extinguish. Let's say the oil is dripping from the side, whatever, I could use it. Rabbi Eliezer holds like his father in one thing, and he argues with his father in one thing. He agrees to his father, the lesle muktzah. There's no muktzah machmas isur, there's no muktzah machmas mios. That he agrees. And he argues with his father, as we learned, Reb Shimon holds that as it's lit, as he's moving around, you can't touch it. But if it's lit, you cannot use it. If it's already extinguished, you could use it. Rabbi Eliezer's son holds that even when it's lit, I could benefit from the oil. Says the Gemara, wait a minute, maybe it's not even Reb Shimon that holds that. We just learned that if it's a large cup, you shouldn't move it. All of a sudden, Reb Shimon says in a large cup, you can't move. All of a sudden, he holds a Muktzah. Amar Ula, Seifa son Reb Yehuda. It's not Reb Shimon. It's Reb Yehuda. Reb Yehuda doesn't hold of Muktzah at all, so it doesn't matter if it's a large cup or a small cup. And we're going to see, there's an argument here. But according to Ula, this is not even Reb Shimon. It doesn't make sense that Reb Shimon. Reb Shimon doesn't hold of Muktzah, so who cares? It's a very large cup, full of oil, not oil. Who is it? The famous Reb Yehuda. Reb Yehuda says there is Muktzah, so if it's a large cup, a small cup, it's Muktzah, finished. Maskif lo Mar Zutra, but Mar Zutra has a bomb question, and this explains why we said to begin with as Reb Shimon. Ihachi mai aval. It says a small cup is not Muktzah according to Reb Shimon. Aval, but kaisu ka'ara v'ashashis, larger vessels, lo yazim zim kaimam. That makes sense if we're going according to Reb Shimon, that he starts off saying, small is not Muktzah, aval, but, however, a large one is Muktzah. But if you're telling me it's all Rabbi Yehuda, so what's aval? Small is Muktzah, however, a large one is Muktzah. It doesn't fit. Everything is Muktzah. What's aval? Aval doesn't make sense. Elo Mar Zutra. So therefore, Mar Zutra says, Loilam Rabbi Shimon, yes, it is Rabbi Shimon. But either way, you're going to have an issue here. On the one hand, you're going to have the problem with Aval, but you have a problem to understand Reb Shimon. Reb Shimon b'ner zuta d'daiti lovei. Aval hane d'nefishi loi. So he says like this. He says, Reb Shimon says that there's no migud iskatzai. If something is muktzah during ben hashmashis, doesn't necessarily mean it's muktzah for the whole Shabbos. There is a case where it is muktzah for the whole Shabbos. If you have that much oil in the ner, So in your mind, you already gave up on that ner. You're saying this thing's going to light for the whole Shabbos. Then Rabbi Shimon agrees that migud is katsoy lebein hashmashos, it's katsoy lekula yoma. Because it's a case where he took it out of his head. He put it on the side. What does this katsoy mean? He doesn't want to have anything to do with it. Since this is a case where it makes sense that he doesn't want to have anything to do with it for the entire Shabbos, why? Because there's enough oil in it for the entire Shabbos. So even Reb Shimon admits in such a case that migud is katsoy lebein hashmashos, it's katsoy lekula yoma. But typically it doesn't hold that. Typically, if let's say we had yesterday the case where you have a chick on a basket. So if that chicken is on the basket for 2 minutes during Ben HaShmashos, if you hold migud is katsoy lebein hashmashos, it's katsoy lekula yoma, that basket is Muktzah. But according to Reb Shimon, it's not Muktzah. Why? Because the chicken is going to jump off the basket right after Ben HaShmashos. But if Rabbi Shimon understood that that chicken is going to be on the basket the entire Shabbos from beginning to end, even he admits that migud is katsoy lebein hashmashos is katsoy lekula yoma. He just says typically it doesn't happen. When does it happen? In our case, when you have a tremendous amount of oil, you know those 7-day yahrzeit candles, something like that, or a regular yahrzeit candle lasts for 24 hours. So in that case, he says, listen, the guy understands if he lights it now, he's never going to be able to touch it, because Reb Shimon holds that when it's lit, you can't touch it on Shabbos. So he knows in his mind that for 24 hours, this thing is gone. So once he was boidel from it, he was maktzit, he put it on the side, then even Reb Shimon agrees, according to Mar Zutra, that it's Muktzah. Ask the Gemara, wait a minute, Vatanya, Moisar Hashem Shebaner, Shebekara Asur. What do I do with all the leftover oil? Leftover oil, it says in the Braisa, I'm not allowed to use it. Rabbi Shimon Matir. Now it says Kara. Kara is a large bowl. So it seems from here, even a large bowl, Rabbi Shimon says you're allowed to use it. On Shabbos. Hasam Kara, doing diner. So you have to say the Kara means a small bowl. Similar to a ner. Hacha Kara, doing the kois. And over here, when we're talking about kois, Ka'ara, Ashashis, these are 3 large vessels. Over there, in that price, it means a small one. Just an interesting point. What do we do with leftover oil from Chanukah lights? You're allowed to use it or not? So if you look in Tosfos, it's like when it becomes wide, Shebener v'shebekara asur, that Tosfos, 3 lines in, he starts off saying, V'imeri, the ner Chanukah ikari loy lahana aseba. A ner Chanukah is for the mitzvah, not so much for his benefit and enjoyment. Ela farsu minisa, u'mishum chavivus l'neis and mitzvah sheyichaba, and he doesn't want it to go out. And maksa the gamer mitzvah, and he sets it aside for the mitzvah. Ava ner Shabbos lahana aseba. Ner Shabbos is a mitzvah, but you also light it for your benefit, right? It's shalom bayis, it creates light in the house. So he wants it to go out, and therefore he makes a distinction between Ner Shabbos and Ner Chanukah. Ner Chanukah is only for the mitzvah, Ner Shabbos not. Omer Ibzeira, yeah, like 7 lines from the bottom. Omer Ibzeira, Pamaychid liku boy b'Shabbos. You have a candlestick. It's a good thing I'm at home now, all by myself. I don't even have mayor today. Candlestick. This is from when we got married. Don't judge me on this thing. I think the last time we polished it was also then. But this is a candlestick. Is this mios? This is not mios. We light on it. You could touch it, no problem. It's not mios. It's not a piece of earthenware that's soaked with oil. The point is that this doesn't absorb anything. This is metal. L'divrei hamatir asur, l'divrei ha'oser mutar. So the Gemara plays a game. According to Reb Meir, that doesn't hold of mios. Over here he says it's asur. Over there, in the case of a kli cheres, where Reb Meir says it's not muktzah because I don't hold of muktzah machmas mios. Over here he's going to say I hold it's muktzah machmas isur. And Rabbi Yehuda that says that it's asur by the small candle, that's muktzah machmas mios, is going to say in our case, in a candelabra, that it's not muktzah. L'meimra, asked the Gemara, the Rabbi Yehuda, muktzah machmas mius, islay, muktzah machmas isur, leslay, wait a minute. Rabbi Yehuda doesn't hold of muktzah machmas isur, why do you say it's mutter? Why is a candelabra not muktzah according to Rabbi Yehuda? He's the one that's machmer always more than Rabbi Shimon. Okay, yes, Reb Meir, who doesn't hold of mios, holds of Isser, but who says to flip that? Who says that if you hold of mios, you don't hold of Isser? That doesn't make sense. Not only that, but Tanya, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Kol HaNeir Shemateches Metaltalin. Chutz min HaMer Shidliku Bei Shabbos. If it's a metal candle, you're allowed to move it on Shabbos. But if you lit it on Shabbos, it's also to be metaltal on Shabbos because of Muktzah Memachemes Isur. You're right. You have to change it around. If you lit this ben hashmashois, dirakol asur. There's a concept of Muktzah Machmas Isur. This candelabra was an Isur at one point in time, and therefore I extend that Isur from ben hashmashois all the way throughout the entire Shabbos. And if I did not light with it, dirakol mutter. Since there's no Muktzah Machmas Isur ben hashmashois, so it's mutter for the entire Shabbos. All right. So we learned a little bit about Muktzah Machmas Mios, Muktzah Machmas Isur. Omer Rav Yehuda, Omer Rav. So Rav Yehuda, famous Rav Yehuda, says the name of Rav. Hold on. What does it say here? Rav Huna. Okay. Mita sheyichad lemois. Based on what we learned yesterday with the bed, and today we're learning about a bed, they were very busy with their beds. They were constantly putting stuff on their beds. I shouldn't be talking because we have a guest room that I find that, the printer before Shabbos has to leave this room, so I throw it on the bed. You could use, bed is a nice flat surface. You only have one or two tables at home, but you have many beds at home. You have different rooms, different things. So you use the bed. What are you going to use the bed for? Your money. Because you don't have a bank. There's no such thing as a bank. This is 1,500 years ago. So where do you put your money? On the bed. Now, notice the word here.
The money usually goes inside the mattress.
Mattress threw it in the garbage with $1 million. Remember the Holocaust survivor, and everybody's searching for her mattress. So in those days they were smarter. They didn't put it in. They put it on top. Anyway, they didn't have mattresses. They had, I don't know what they had. They had like a little. They had straw. There's no in and out. It's like, okay. But it seems like they did have. Yesterday we learned they had kari amita. They lifted up their beds on eggs. So yeah, they had some sort of something. Fine. Yeah, I don't know what the money's doing, why it's on the bed. Okay, in the bed. But it says yichada. What does yichada mean? He just set it aside. He said, this bed is going to be for my money. He never put money there. He used miyachad it. He designated it in his head. That's all. Wow. So, I'm not allowed to move it. Not allowed to move it. Here comes Taisvis, very important Taisvis here. The bottom Taisvis on Mita sheyichad lemois asal letaltala nira dafil letzorich gufa or letzorich mekayma asur. So it's two new concepts, very important concepts when it comes to Muktzah. And if you learn Siman Shin Ches, and the Mishnah Berurah always talks about these concepts, Muktzah machaz letzorich gufa or mekayma. Meaning, if I need to lay down on the bed, I need gufa. I need the actual kli. This kli, this designated money bed is muktzah, great. But guess what? I need it. I need to take a nap, my Shabbos nap. It's very important. So typically, if I have a hammer, the hammer is a kli shemalachta isur. It's a vessel designated for isur to build a house. But right now I need it. Why do I need it? Because I want to crack open a coconut. So l'tzorech gufa is mutter. Now it becomes not muktzah anymore. But this bed, even though I need a nap, it's muktzah. I can't use it. Why? Because anytime you have muktzah machmas gufa, it itself is inherently muktzah, like money, then you don't have this heter of l'tzorech gufa, l'tzorech makaymai. Let's say the hammer's on my seat, my chair, and I want to sit down. So I pick up the hammer and I toss it. All of a sudden, there's no muktzah. Bye-bye. Why? Because that's a kli shemalachta le'isur. It's a kli. It has function. Other than building, it could do other things. But money has absolutely no function. It's zero. The only thing it could do is buy stuff. And right now, it can't buy anything. It's Shabbos. So it's no better than a stone in the street, where a stone is muktzah machmas gufa. It has no purpose other than throwing it on other Jews or whatever, but it doesn't have a purpose. So if it doesn't have a purpose, then it's Muktzah machmas gufa, and if it's Muktzah machmas gufa, I cannot move it l'tzorch gufa l'tzorch mekaymai. That's what Tosfos says. Nira dafi l'tzorch gufa or l'tzorch mekayma asur. I'm not allowed to move it even if I need to lay down or move the bed. Why? It's just like those trumpets we learned in the other sugya that have no purpose other than making sound. And since it's Shabbos, I can't make sound with it. But remember, the shofar is different. The shofar, if I could use the shofar as a cup of water, then all of a sudden it does have purpose, and then I could use it, I could move it. Fine. Next. So now we're talking about a bed. Let's go back to the sugya. We're talking about a bed that a person designated it for his money. Also, the taltala, I'm not allowed to move it. Meisvei. I'm allowed to move a brand new candle. Why? How could I move a brand new candle? You just told me that a bed that I designated for money, I can't move on Shabbos. And a brand new candle in a box, what do I do with a brand new lamp? A lamp, not a candle, a lamp. What do I do with this thing? This, brand new in a box, I could move on Shabbos. Why? Why is this any different than a bed designated for money? This is also designated to light a candle, which is also. Avalei Yoshan says, ooh, look at the surprise. Daf Mem Dalet Mem Beis. You see what's going on here? You're getting nervous about 11 minutes. Don't worry about it. We have a 45-minute sugya here. Look at these Tosfos, Rabbi Shimon. Umaner, I told you about my Rebbe in Cheder. He had a ruler. It was like this size, and he would put it on his Gemara. And if the ruler fit in the Tosfos, then we learned it. If it was bigger, he didn't learn it. Here, so all these Tosfos we would have to learn. Anyway, Umaner de la Chavidah. A lamp is manufactured for Isser, but if I didn't light it, it's not Muktzah. Mito, the lav lachi avida, but a bed is made to lay down on, to sleep on. Certainly, it shouldn't be Muktzah. Just because I designated in my head, shouldn't make it Muktzah. Says the Gemara, Eli Yitmar, we have to, again, another Ela Yitmar. We had one before. Omer Rav Yidom Rav. This is what Rav said. So it depends. Listen to this. There's two stages, two conditions here. If it's a bed that's designated for money, and he put the money on it before Shabbos, then it's Muktzah. By the way, we had a very similar sugya with tefillin. Remember, tefillin bag, if it's a bag and he put the money in it, he put tefillin in it, or he didn't put tefillin, he's miyachaded for tefillin, but he never put his tefillin in it, and then he did put his tefillin. Could you put money in it? Could you use it for other things? We had such a sugya in brachas, I think. Yeah? You remember? Somebody remember this? A kiss? Fine. Nobody remembers. Great. Or nobody wants to show off that they remember. So if he designated it on Tuesday and put money on it on Tuesday, then also l'taltala on Shabbos, even if there's nothing on it, it becomes muktzah. Why? Because he already showed that he used it. Now, let me ask you something. What about a candle? I lit a candle on Tuesday. This thing was lit on Tuesday. Can I move this on Shabbos? You're saying no. The Olam's saying no. Could I move this on Shabbos? Rabbi Schreiber says it depends. Well, yeah, it does depend. Based on what we're saying now, listen to this. He wasn't miyachadit. So it's similar to if a person takes money and puts it on a bed and takes off the money off his bed. Just because he put money on the bed doesn't mean that it's... To me, it's a chiddush because this is a lamp and it's made for lighting. Nevertheless, it seems like you have to be miyachadit and you have to light it. And since he only lit it, that's not enough, according to Rabbi Shimon. According to the sugya here. So, Nachamo. If he was miyachad, he designated it, and in the and and he physically went and he did what he thought he was going to do, also tatula, then it becomes muktzah. If he didn't put any money on it, mutal tatula, then you're allowed to move it on Shabbos. Now, this is the halacha. If he didn't do yichud, then if there are physically money on it, if there's money on it, even though he didn't designate it, then it's asr.
Ellie, I don't know if you're right about that. A bed, you have to be miyached and do an action because a bed has numerous actions. So if you want to make a muktzah, you have
I didn't know, but I understand.
Not a candle.
I know. I didn't make it up though. This is what I learned. I didn't make. If I, on my own, I would never say something like that. You're right. On my own, it doesn't make sense to me that much. That's why I'm saying it. It's a chiddush to me. It's a chiddush. Look inside, you'll see. Read Rashi, whatever. Where did I see it? I saw it somewhere. So if I didn't designate it, it depends. If there's money right now, it's muktzah. If there's no money, not muktzah. Now, but this is a very important line here. What does it mean? As long as there's no money on the bed, Ben Hashmashis when Shabbos comes in. But if there was money on the bed when Ben Hashmashis came in, so they say Migdis Katsoy Ben Hashmashis is Katsoy Likuli Yoima. Okay? The fact that somebody took it off, a guy took it off, a kid took it off, it remains Muktzah. Okay, so now the Gemara is going to bring a very interesting sugya of Muchni, a wheel. And there's a lot of details in the sugya. The bottom line of the question is that we just said that if something's under Ben Hashmashos, it's Muktzah. And we see from here that even if it's on Ben Hashmashos, it's not Muktzah from Muchni. And the Gemara says, okay, that goes according to Rabbi Shimon. That doesn't hold of Muktzah. So that's the question, that's the answer. Again, we have a place that says that if something's under Ben Hashmashos, it's not Muktzah. Okay, that's Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon doesn't hold of Muktzah of Ben Hashmashos. What's this Muchni? Muchni is a wheel. A wheel. This is taken from the Mesifta. The wheel in a teva. This guy right over here. This is a shida. You sit. This is where people sit. Things sit in this box. The halacha is that if something is larger than 40 saw, if it takes up the volume of 40 saw, you put this in a swimming pool, and more than 40 saw of water come out of the swimming pool. In other words, it has more than 40 saw volume. According to Basil, you measure the volume with the outside of the kli. You don't fill up the inside. According to Bisham, you fill up the inside. So according to Basil, if this is more than 40 saw, it's not mekabel tumah. I could go into Beis HaKfaris with this. I could sit inside here and go over the kvarim, and I'm not tummy. The question is, what halacha do the wheels have? Are the wheels part of this or not part of it? Now, if the wheels aren't part of this muchni, of this shida, if the muchni, the wheels, are not part of the shida, then it's very interesting. Then the wheels would be mekabel tumah on their own. If they step over a grave or something, they become tameh, and the rest doesn't become tameh because they're not connected. So if these wheels are, what's the word? They can be detached. They come off. They come apart. Whatever, they come apart, like a wheel on a car comes off. Then the wheel is not part of the box. It's not part of the car. So if I drive through the Beis HaKfaris, the whole box is not tameh. The wheel becomes tameh. Now, another halacha, the reverse also. Let's say the box doesn't become tameh because it's less than 40 saw. The box is tameh, but it doesn't give tumah over to the wheel, because the wheel, yes, it might be touching the box, but a kli that touches another kli doesn't become tameh. They're not connected. The bottom line is they're not connected. If you can remove the wheel from it. So says the Gemara inside, Masav Rebbe Eliezer, Muchni Shalah. Now, another very important thing is, I didn't take the picture, but this wheel Similar to our wheels today, I guess, of the car, that they're hollow. So it's not a solid piece of wood. So it has a toich because you need to have, what do you call it? It has to be able to accept money. It has to be a kli. Otherwise, if it's a piece of salad, then it doesn't work, this whole sugya. So okay, so you have a wheel. Bizmanchi nishmetes, if it could come off, ein chibur la. So it's not connected, it's not considered one piece with the wagon. So therefore, if there's tum on the wheel, that tum doesn't go to the wagon. If there's tum on the wagon, it doesn't go to the wheel. If I were to try to measure 40 saw to see if this thing has 40 saw and it's not mekabel tumah, I must remove the wheels before I put into a very large swimming pool, because just because 40 saw of water comes out, that's with the wheels. I can't count the wheels. The wheels are not part of it. So Rashi says something, they find it very hard to understand Rashi. I'll explain as much as I know and I understand. And you see, I have this tool here. And if the tool is over the base akvarais, then the tool becomes tameh. But if there's a wheel here, so since the wheel itself is mekabel tumah, then the tumah goes up into this tool and becomes tameh. If it's part of the wagon, then it could protect the tool from tumah. But Rashi goes in, and I don't understand it, and I didn't find a good pshat for it. He makes a difference between whether the wheel is higher up than the wagon or lower down than the wagon. Okay, they say it's hard to understand Rashi. So you cannot, listen to this is an amazing halacha. If there's money in that hollow of the wheel, then I cannot move the wheel. It's muktzah, it's full of money. Unbelievable. If the wheel is part of the wagon, then I could move it. Why? Because it's bottled to the wagon. The main thing is a wagon. It just so happens that a wagon has a silly little wheel full of money. But that's not my concern. But since the wheel is independent of the wagon, and that wheel has money, so the wheel is muktzah and I can't move it. So I saw in the Mishnah Berurah amazing chiddush here. That's negeh l'maisa, sort of. If you take this concept, it's almost the opposite of what you would think. So if a guy has a wallet sewn into his pocket, what would you say? It's full of money on Shabbos. Could I move it? You shouldn't wear it. The Mishnah Berurah says you shouldn't wear that because you might come out, you might be metaltal, you might go into Rosh Hashanah on Shabbos. But forget about wearing it. Could I take it off my bed? It's money. It's usher to move. We said it's usher to do on Shabbos. But it's sewn into my pocket. It's sewn into my pants. Or another example he gives, you have a desk that has a money, something that's made for money. You know, a little lock, a little built-in thing. So built-in and sewn into the pants is good. Why? Because the main thing is the pants. The wallet is secondary. So I can move my pants. But if the wallet is not sewn in, like most of us don't have sewn in wallets, but some of us might have like a little zipper pocket for change. That, says the Mishnah Berurah, is okay. But a wallet that's not sewn in, then all of a sudden now you're carrying a wallet. The wallet is independent of the pants. I cannot move those pants off my bed. You hear the chiddush?
Could this be like a car key, house key attached to each other? So if I need the house key, I don't care about the car key.
That's something that we were talking about yesterday of buses, the davar asur v'amuter. It's a little different. It's different. Over here we're talking about
key ring.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Same key ring, but it would be much better if you had keys that are attached to your pants. You know, some people have those machers, have those special keychains, and it's stuck to you. You know, it has a little thing that comes in and out. They love that thing. So if it's glued onto your pants, then you're allowed to move your pants on Shabbos. But keys are different. Keys have a different isser. That's a klisha malachti le'isser. I'm talking about a worse muktzah. I'm talking about money. Money is the worst of the worst because it has no purpose. What can you do with a shekel on Shabbos? What are you going to do with a dollar bill on Shabbos? Nothing. You can make a paper airplane with it. What are you going to do? Use it for toilet paper? You can't do anything with it. So it has no purpose. A key has a purpose. You can turn on a car on Shabbos and drive to the hospital or whatever. I don't know. You can do something with it. Fine. Akopanim, I was just throwing out that chiddush. I thought it was a beautiful idea that if it's sewn into the pants, then it becomes butter to the pants, even though it's money. If it's not sewn into the pants, so the same thing over here. If the wheel is part of the wagon, then it becomes butter to the wagon. So even though it has money, I can move it. If it's not attached to the wagon, it is attached, but it's independent of the wagon because it comes on and off, then it's not part of the wagon, then it's muktzah. It itself is muktzah, and it doesn't come butter to the wagon. I can't move it on Shabbos. Let's go weiter. So what do you see? That even though the money is on there in Ben Hashmashos, I'm allowed to move it. And we just said that if it's there on Ben Hashmashos, I'm not allowed to move it. Ahi, Rabbi Shimon, the Leslie Muktzah. Rabbi Shimon doesn't hold a Muktzah Ben Hashmashos. V'Rav give you this fearly. And Rav holds that there is Muktzah Ben Hashmashos. Now, very interesting, very important Rashi here. Very important. The last Rashi on the page. Ahi Rabbi Shimon, money you can't do anything with. Oh, all of a sudden we find the case of Rabbi Shimon agrees to Muktzah. I mean, we spoke about before if it's Migdal Katzayit for the entire day. But here's a Muktzah that Rabbi Shimon admits to. All the other Muktzahs, Rabbi Shimon argue with Rabbi Yehuda. No Muktzah. No Muktzah of Isser, no Muktzah of this. This Muktzah Machmas Gufa that has zero purpose, a stone on Shabbos, even according to Rabbi Shimon, is Muktzah because it has no purpose. Rabbi Shimon just doesn't agree to the concept of Migdal Katzayit ben Hashmashos is Katzayit l'kula yoma. Let's just learn a couple more lines there. Achinam mistabra the Rabbi Yehuda Svirlei the Rav Rabbi Yehuda Svirlei the Rav holds like Rabbi Yehuda that he holds a Muktzah this Katzayit ben Hashmashos. This is also amazing chiddush. Exact opposite of what you would think. If you have a candle, you could put it on a tree on Shabbos, but you cannot put it on a tree on Yom Tov. Now, to go on a tree on Shabbos is asur. Why? If there's a concept of Migdal Katzayit ben Hashmashos Katzayit l'kula yoma, so therefore, I am not going to go on my tree on Shabbos. I have no concern that I'm going to go and start breaking branches off on Shabbos. Why? Because this candle is Muktzah. Why is it Muktzah? Because it's Muktzah ben Hashmashos, Muktzah for the whole Shabbos. So put it on a tree before Shabbos. But on Yom Tov that I'm allowed to use a candle, so I'm going to want to light a fire. I'm going to want to light my cigarettes. I'm going to go climb up a tree and start breaking branches on Yom Tov. So Mamela, it's also to put a candle before Yom Tov. But that only works if you hold of the concept of Migdal Katzayit ben Hashmashos. Eli Yamris Rabbi Shimon Svirlei Mali Shabbos Mali Yom Tov. So you see that Rav holds like Rabbi Yehuda with the concept of Migdal Katzayit ben Hashmashos. It's Katzayit l'kula yoma. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow Be'ez Hashem at 7:15. Noam will lead us with some Tehillim.